Mic check 1 2 1 2. It's the Y2K collector here, and Phoenix Resale is giving us a masterclass on how to pivot. What do I mean when I say that? Phoenix Resale has recently launched a one-up app, which at first I really couldn't understand what the app was designed to do. I had to watch a few of his videos to really understand what the most basic utility of the app was. And essentially, when you break it all down, it's an application that makes it easier for you to sell him your video games. That's pretty much it. I think Phoenix Resale is extremely smart. I think he is very well spoken, and I think he's pretty savvy. But more importantly, I think Phoenix Resale is a product of opportunity and timing. Phoenix Resale really blew up during a time where video game reselling was probably at its highest point ever in history. He, like many others during the pandemic, exploded in whatever respective niches their content was surrounded around. It just so happened that Phoenix Resale's content was surrounded around video games. Now, he lured a lot of his viewers in by creating videos that had this amazing wow factor, in that he was able to go out and about in the field and find these really rare games and get these really amazing deals. And he really showcased his ability to negotiate, to network, and to ultimately build a business, right? But now he's transitioning into something that's a little bit different. There's a saying that goes, those who cannot do, teach. But I think that saying isn't accurate. I think it should be those who cannot do anymore, or those who cannot do as effectively, teach. What do I mean? You have guys, and I'm just going to use the NBA as an example. You have guys who, when they were in the NBA, they were all-stars. They were scoring champions. These guys were amazing at what they did, but everything has a life cycle. You're not going to be an all-star forever. You're not going to play at an MVP level forever, and eventually you get old, you age out of the game, your body can't do what it used to do, and so now you have to transition into the next phase of your career. And there are some dudes who play in the NBA who successfully know how to do this, and usually these are the guys who transition into commentators on ESPN or Fox, or they transition into coaches. They join a coaching staff and they become an assistant coach. Some become head coaches. Some become head of basketball operations. Some become GMs. And it's really all based on the other skill sets you're able to develop as you transition out of your glory days in the NBA. If you ask me, I think Phoenix Resale's glory days of going out and finding video games out in the wild and sourcing them to flip them, I think those glory days are behind him. And not necessarily because Phoenix Resale doesn't know how to flip video games, but just because the market is not the same. It's not 2020 anymore. It's not 2021 anymore. And it's just not as easy to flip video games, primarily because the margins are not there, right? And so when you look at it from a time value perspective, which is something that Phoenix Resale talks a lot about, maybe not on his main page, but on his secondary page, Phoenix Resale, he usually talks about time value. And so Phoenix Resale has reached a stage in his flipping journey where he's probably more so concerned about time than he is with money. And that's where the whole one-up app comes in. Now, based on one of his latest videos, I think since his launch, he has about 200 users on the app. And I myself tried to go and download the app. I think I went on Apple's Apple Store and tried to see if I could find the app. I wasn't able to find it. I guess you have to use a QR code, or maybe it's still in beta, so maybe it's not released to the general public. I'm not sure. But as I was looking through it and watching some of the videos, I really started to get a real sense of what he was pivoting towards. And I don't think the one-up app is really meant to do what a lot of people think it's meant to do on the surface. And I really kind of wanted to share my opinion, and really just say what I think it's designed to do. And I think Phoenix Resale launching this app is really designed to do three things. The first thing that it's designed to do is it's designed to save him time, right? Phoenix Resale has gotten to a point where it doesn't really benefit him to drive around all over the country, going to different pawn shops, going to different stores to try and find games. He doesn't have the time for that anymore. And so I think he decided to figure out a way to create a system that would grow his sourcing business exponentially. If you want to know what the key part about reselling anything is, it's sourcing the product. Sourcing the product is the key to reselling anything, whether you're reselling video games, reselling sneakers, reselling cars. You have to be able to effectively source product, and you have to be able to do it in the most efficient way possible. These days, because the margins for flipping video games is so small, the time value, the gas value, the wear and tear value on your car and on your body doesn't match up to what you would get after you find a copy of Ultimate Spider-Man in the wild for maybe $20 and you flip it for $30 and you make a $5 profit. If it took you 3 hours to find this, a $5 for 3 hours or 5 hours worth of work between finding the game, packaging the games, marketing the game, selling the game, it's just not there. But by Phoenix Resale now creating this application that allows you to mail him your games at a predetermined price point, it just makes it easier for him. It's the most efficient way to do it, because when you send him the games, he already knows what the value is. He already knows how much he's going to pay you. He already has a good idea of what his profit margins are going to be. And guess what he didn't have to do? He didn't have to spend all day driving to you, getting a truck, packing it all in his car, driving it back to his house, doing all the inventory. No, because the bulk of the work is done through the app. So that is extremely smart and extremely shrewd on his part, because he already has an infrastructure. Like, this application will work best for him because he already has the infrastructure to maximize what the main utility of the app is. He already has an Amazon store. He's already on eBay. He already has the network. He already is well known, so people know who he is. And people are already on his Discord platforms. And he already has the infrastructure to make the most of this type of application as probably one of the best resellers we've seen on YouTube in a very long time. And I'll give him that crown, especially when it comes to video games. I'm not a hater of Phoenix Resale at all. Like I said, I think he's extremely shrewd. But I think that's the main utility of this app. One of the primary things this app is designed to do is to save him time. The second thing that I think this application is designed to do is it's really meant to showcase his ability to lead a team, to lead a project, and to be able to successfully launch an application and successfully launch a business, right? Say what you want about Phoenix Resale, but it's extremely difficult to create an idea in your head, say, I'm going to do this, and then execute it, and in a matter of 10 months to a year, have the finished product. A lot of people come up with ideas every day, but very few are able to actually flesh them out and execute them from start to finish. And I got to give him his props. Even if the app is a complete failure, he has documented his ability to create an idea and successfully launch it from start to finish. And even if the application doesn't do as well as some people might think, because I think most people are thinking that the application would be a failure if it only had maybe 1,000 users after 3 years. But I disagree. I think if Phoenix Resale is able to have a solid 500 users of his application, which means he has 500 people that are consistently sourcing games for him, right? These are 500 users that are selling him games. I think it's a success. When I first saw the application, I was like, man, having to pay a subscription fee is stupid. But Phoenix Resale said something that was really smart. He said, we don't want everyone to use the app. We created the price point as a barrier to keep the bad actors out, meaning he doesn't want people using the app that are just going to be frivolous with the app, that aren't serious about reselling, or that are probably going to use the application to mail him a bunch of junk. He has a threshold in terms of quality for what he wants to source. And so by creating a subscription price, it automatically removes the people who would probably try to sell him all of their, John Madden games. Because that's easily what some people might want to do with the app. They might have a whole crate of sports games sitting around, and they might want to try to package those up and sell it to him. But if it's going to cost you $50 just to sell him your sports games, it's not worth it. And so by doing that, he does, in a way, successfully weed out the bad actors and get them out the way. But regardless, whether the app is a complete success or a complete failure in terms of how many people download and use the app, Phoenix Resale has shown you his ability to put a team together that can build market, and launch an application. And because he already has the subscription base, the fan base, or whatever you want to call it, the user base, he is going to have a certain amount of people use the app. Even if 1% of his subscribers said that they were going to use the app, that's at least a few hundred to a few thousand people that are using the app. And I'll be honest with you, I can't think of any other reseller online that would be able to get even 500 people to use their app if they launched it. So again, whether it's a success or whether it's a failure, he's been able to kind of pay for hands-on training on how to build an app, right? I think he said it cost him around $140,000. Well, people pay more than that to go to school to learn business. He's pretty much taught himself how to build a team, build an app, and he's done it for you live. He's documented it, and he's documenting his success and his failures. And regardless of the outcome, he's going to be able to learn from it, and he'll be able to point to someone, or he'll be able to point to it and say, hey, this is an idea that I had, and I was able to flesh it out from start to finish, and this is where we landed. And the best part is that he doesn't have any debt, which when it comes to building and starting a business, that's the most important thing. Even if his ability to pay for the app came from his YouTube streams or from his reselling business, he's been able to successfully leverage his profits into a new business and pivot away from the thing that got him popular in the first place. Because let's all be honest, no one's building a flipping business in 2024 that's going to allow them to buy a new home like he did and launch other businesses like he did. Phoenix Resale is not a one-trick pony. He's not just a reseller. He's a business mind. He's thinking about what the next thing is. And for him, the next thing is going to lead me to my third point as to what this app is designed to do. This app is finally designed to create another automated passive stream of income for him. Now, you might say, well, Y2K, he already has a passive stream of income with his YouTube channel. This is true. But for anyone who does not have a YouTube channel, or if you have a YouTube channel, but it's not monetized, I'll say this. My channel just got monetized this year. And if there's anything that I've learned about YouTube, you don't have as much control over the success of your videos as you think you do. The video that you think might not do well will be the video that might blow up and get you a good amount of revenue from YouTube. The video that you might think is the masterpiece of all videos might be the video that gets you 66 cents after being published for 3 months, right? So YouTube, and especially with where we're at now, YouTube, I think that it's becoming more competitive, especially in the resale space. Look at me, I'm a smaller YouTube channel. And I don't even do a lot of the content that Phoenix Resale does, but there's a lot of YouTube channels popping up, and that revenue isn't super, I would say, consistent, right? It's going to fluctuate. And so for someone like him, who's taken on the overhead of a new home, who has businesses, I'm sure he has employees and different things that he has to pay for, he has to constantly be thinking about what the next passive income stream is. And again, I think up to this point, he's got 200 plus users. If 200 people are paying him $50 a month to subscribe to this application, that's yet another passive stream of income that at the very least will allow him to fund new ventures and new projects. And this all, again, just showcases his ability to build businesses. Do I think Phoenix Resale has a love for video games? Sure. I'm sure there's a part of him that loves video games. Do I think he spends a good amount of time playing them? Probably not, because he's out making money. And if you ask me, which would I rather do, play video games or make money? I'm going to choose making money too. Don't get me wrong. I love video games. I think they're great and I play them. But when I'm not playing them, I'm out trying to make money. And I think that for him, designing this application is just going to create another stream of income that allows him to make money in his sleep. And as a matter of fact, the OneUp app is going to make money for him even easier than YouTube will, because with YouTube, he has to drop a video in order for it to generate revenue. With the OneUp app, he doesn't have to drop anything. It's an application and it's a subscription. And whether he drops a video or not, he's still going to get paid because people are going to have to pay that monthly subscription fee. Now, I think he said that there's a free version of it that probably doesn't give you access to all of the key features that maximize the application, but it at least allows you to get your feet wet and kind of see what the application is about. And then I think he said that there's some kind of program to where if you sell enough, if you do enough sales with him, you eventually wind up getting a year free. But just like any one of those types of programs, it just means that you got to do a lot of business with him in order to get the subscription for free, which ultimately means that he's going to get that money on the back end by just being able to do more business with you by sourcing more product. So at the end of the day, the third reason for him making this video or this application, in my opinion, is to create another passive stream of income, which on the face of it will probably get him anywhere between another $5,000 and $10,000 per month just based off his subscriptions. So listen, again, I think Phoenix Resale at this stage in his flipping career, he is giving us all a masterclass in how to pivot out of one type of business into another. And again, I'm not saying that he's done flipping. I'm not saying that he's going to shut down his Amazon stores. But what he's showing us now is his ability to build businesses. And this is just going to be a launching pad for him to do even more things and do other things. And the best part about it for him is that it's not success dependent, meaning that he doesn't need the application to be this overwhelming success to be able to reap the benefits that I think he's looking for from it. He already has the platform, he already has the infrastructure, and he already has a lot of the things that most people don't have in order to maximize it. Is it an application that I will be using? No, because I am not that serious of a reseller or of a flipper. Do I think that this application is going to be beneficial to a wide majority of people? No, I do not think so. I think this application is really meant for people who, for them, reselling is their full-time career. And whether you want to believe it or not, that is a full-time career for some people. There are people out there who get up every single day and they go to all of their thrift stores, they go to their discount stores, they go to their Salvation Armies, and they're constantly sourcing product every day because that's the hardest part of reselling, sourcing product. And what Phoenix Resale has done is he's created a one-stop automated shop to be able for him to source product from the comfort of his home without ever having to leave and without having to do a lot of the processing that's involved with getting in new inventory, because the application does the bulk of the processing during the sale. So when he gets the invoice, he already has a solid idea of what his numbers are going to be in terms of profit and in terms of what he's going to have to pay out. And in my opinion, I just think it's genius. So I think we can all learn something from it. I've learned something from it. I think it's an interesting model. And I think it's been a great way to pivot. My hat's off to him. And if you are someone who is a diehard full-time reseller, it's an application that you should get and use. If you are someone who just casually finds stuff on the weekends, or you have a full-time job and just buying video games is something that you do on the side, I don't think paying for the subscription is the smartest thing to do, because now your business is costing you more money than it's making you. But these are just my opinions. These are just my thoughts. I'm interested to know what the broader gaming community thinks. I'm the Y2K collector. Hopefully you're having a good weekend or a good week. Take it easy.